Hello everyone. Welcome back to AskPrep. Today, we are exploring a fascinating part of our Indian Constitution, the right to freedom of religion, found in Articles 25 to 28. In this we will cover Introduction to Religious Freedom in the Indian Constitution. Article 25, Freedom of Conscience and Free Profession, Practice and Propagation of Religion. Article 26, Freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27, Freedom as to payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. Article 28, Freedom as to attendance at religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institutions. Comparative view: Indian secularism versus significant case laws and judicial interpretations. So let's start with the first point: Introduction to Religious Freedom in the Indian Constitution. Overview of the right to freedom of religion in Articles 25-28. These articles, part of the fundamental rights, protect religious freedoms for all citizens. The Constitution aims to ensure individuals can follow, practice, and propagate their religion freely. Articles 25-28 uphold India's secular nature, where the state maintains neutrality and does not endorse any particular religion. Importance and relevance in a secular country like India. Ensures coexistence of diverse religions, fostering social harmony. Protects minority religions from discrimination and promotes equality. Demonstrates India's commitment to secularism, balancing freedom and unity amidst diversity. Now let's talk about the second point: Article 25, Freedom of Conscience and Free Profession, Practice, and Propagation of Religion. Explanation of religious freedom and its scope. Article 25 grants individuals the right to freely follow, practice, and spread their religion. Ensures freedom of conscience, allowing people to hold personal beliefs without coercion. Limitations on Article 25. Subject to public order, morality, and health, religious practices cannot harm public safety or disrupt societal harmony. Prevents practices that violate social norms or public interests. Cases and examples illustrating religious freedom. Bijo Emmanuel v. State of Kerala protected the right of Jehovah's Witnesses to refrain from singing the national anthem. Sabrimala case addressed women's right to enter religious spaces, balancing religious practices with individual rights. Now let's talk about the third point: Article 26, Freedom to manage religious affairs. Rights of religious denominations to manage their own affairs. Article 26 grants religious groups the freedom to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Allows religious denominations to manage internal matters related to religion independently. Explanation of key terms. Religious denomination, a distinct group within a religion with its unique beliefs and practices. Religious affairs, internal matters related to worship, rituals, and management of religious institutions. Now let's talk about the fourth point: Article 27, Freedom as to payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. Concept of tax freedom related to religious promotion. Article 27 prevents the state from compelling citizens to pay taxes specifically for promoting any religion. Ensures public funds are not used to favor or endorse any religion. Government restrictions on using taxpayer money for specific religions. State is prohibited from funding or aiding religious activities with tax revenue. Promotes secularism by ensuring public resources serve all citizens equally. Examples of Article 27 in government policies. Prohibition on funding religious events with public funds. ensures temples, mosques, or churches cannot receive public funds for religious purposes unless it serves a secular purpose. Now let's talk about the fifth point, Article 28, freedom as to attendance at religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institutions. Religious instruction restrictions in government-funded institutions. Article 28 prevents religious instruction in institutions fully funded by the government. Publicly funded institutions are required to uphold secularism. Differentiation among institutions. Private or partially aided institutions may provide religious instruction with parental consent. Government-maintained institutions cannot force religious teachings on students. How Article 28 promotes secularism in education. Ensures education in government institutions remains secular. Protects students' freedom of conscience, especially in diverse learning environments. Now let's talk about the sixth point, comparative view, Indian secularism versus Indian secularism compared to the US and France. India's secularism allows positive support for all religions without endorsing one. US and France strictly separate religion and state, limiting religious symbols in public spaces. Unique model promoted by Articles 25-28. Indian secularism maintains religious freedoms while upholding public order and equality. Allows religious diversity to coexist peacefully within a unified legal framework. Now let's talk about the seventh point, significant case laws and judicial interpretations. Key Supreme Court cases defining Articles 25-28. Bijo Emmanuel v. State of Kerala affirmed freedom of conscience for religious practices. Sabrimala and Shirur Mutt cases clarified religious rights versus public and individual rights. Summary of judgments to provide depth and context. Court rulings have established boundaries where religious rights meet public interest. Judicial interpretations ensure that religious freedom does not conflict with fundamental rights and secularism. If you found this video informative, then write it down, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss more important videos in the future.